Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlie Herman. Sorry, I know it's been a while, but I've been a little busy with my other work and everything. So this is about going to be a review from the Carnival Vista cruise ship. I just got back from about 2 weeks ago. It was basically a great ship. It's a mega ship. It had about 4,900 people in capacity and was basically completely full. So, and even though it was a very full ship, you didn't feel like it was full, except maybe at the lunch buffet, at the main buffet in the on the Lido deck. That was the only time it really felt like there were that many people on board. Is because it was just everyone was going there for food at the same time. And the breakfast buffet. That's the only time the ship really felt that full, is during those two times of the day. Um, it was a great itinerary. It was 8 days, Southern Caribbean. The cruise went from Miami to Grand Turk, which I've done to death. It's nice there. All you do is lay on the beach and you drink a little bit and you hang out at Jack's shack and you hang out at Margaritaville, and then you basically get back on the ship and you go on and you hang out at the beach in those two bars I told you about, and you go back on the ship. There's not much to do there. Also went to La Romana, Dominican Republic, Curacao, and Aruba. When I was in La Romana, I actually did not stay in La Romana. Did an excursion that took us on a bus ride to Punta Cana, then it did a catamaran around the coast of Punta Cana and then ended up on the beach. And let's face the catamaran was basically a snorkel and beach excursion. I don't snorkel, so I stayed on the catamaran, and then it was basically a booze cruise until we got to the beach. And Curacao, just got off the ship. I hadn't been there before, so I just walked around, took some pictures, took in the scenery. I did make it to the floating bridge. That was beautiful. And it was anyone who hasn't been to Curacao, I recommend when you do look for cruise itineraries, if you see Curacao in the itinerary, you most definitely want to consider that itinerary, especially with Curacao and Aruba on it. Also, my first time in Aruba, I didn't have much time to walk around because I did an excursion. I did a catamaran to. It took us to Palm Beach. It was sailing and snorkel. As again, I said I don't snorkel, so catamaran was basically a little bit of a booze cruise. Then we had lunch on the beach at Palm Beach in Aruba. Had a couple hours there, and then we took the bus back to the port. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the layout of the ship. I'm not in love with the layout of the ship. I mean, I like the ship. It has everything on board that all the other Carnival ships does. It's a bit spread out all over the ship. You don't, and also in the atrium, you don't have the glass elevators like you do on the older ship. But it's more of a circle bar in the atrium, which is better because more people can get served. But you don't have the glass elevators like you do on other Carnival ships. Another thing, like I said, everything's spread out all over the ship. So you want to go from one place, you have to walk from one end of the ship to the other end of the ship. The Conquest class ships, the layout is much better. If they could just find a way to put the Conquest class layout on the Vista class ships, it would be perfect. But I'm not going to make a big deal about that. Like I said, it's still a very nice ship. And even though the layout could be a bit better, but it's still a very good ship, and that's not a reason not to book a cruise on that cruise ship. Okay, excuse me. First things first, embarkation day, I finally got my platinum card on this cruise. So literally, I got chocked. It does when you're platinum or diamond. It doesn't matter what time you show up to port. You get checked in right away, and you go right through security, and you go right up to the VIP room, VIP room for platinums and diamonds. They call it the VIP lounge, but it's really just a separate waiting room until you board. It's not like a lounge when you fly for first business class. It's not like an airline lounge. It's just a separate waiting room, and you literally are the first ones on board. They do people with like the guests on board first, or people who need special assistance. Then they board the diamonds and platinums right away. So you're literally one of the first people on board, and that was very nice. The boarding was a bit delayed, but that was due to a disembarkation from the previous cruise that morning, taking longer, a little bit longer than normal. They had, for some reason, they had trouble getting everyone off the ship in a timely manner. But we started boarding, I'm going to say around 11:45, 12 o'clock, when normally you start boarding around 11:30. So it was only delayed about 15 minutes, which isn't a big deal. But like I said, it was delayed a bit. The next thing, like I said, I'm a Platinum member, and one of the benefits of Platinum is as soon as I got on board the ship, my room was ready. I didn't have to wait till 1:30. I didn't have to wait till anything. I asked the guy if which way to my room. I asked. He said he wasn't sure. I showed him that I was Platinum member. He checked the list, and he said, "Oh yes, your room is ready," and directed me direct how to get to my room. So that was a really nice perk. Being Platinum, was when I got on board, my room was literally ready. I could drop my stuff, put on some sunblock, head up to the buffet, get some lunch, and just immediately lay out in the sun, get a drink. It was phenomenal. I didn't have to wait to get to my room, put some sunblock on, or explore the ship, waiting for my room to be ready. It was ready. I got changed. I was dropped the stuff off I didn't need, put some sunblock on, and went right upstairs. It was wonderful, and I can't wait for my next cruise on Carnival, because now, as a Platinum member, I know what to expect. We left a little bit late. We were supposed to leave around 4 o'clock, 4:30. We didn't end up leaving till about 4:45, 5 o'clock. There was a lot of traffic in port that day. It was a Saturday, so we had a few ships that left before we did, and we just got stuck on the pier. I don't know exactly what the reason was, but we left a little bit late. But once we got going, we pretty much made up the time. So the sea day experience, this was an 8-day cruise, so we had 3 sea days, not including the first day of the cruise. The first day, embarkation day, you don't count as a sea day. It's the first day of the cruise, so we had 3 sea days. The first sea day, which was the second day of the cruise, it rained a little bit, which does put a damper on it, but at the same time, the ship had plenty of options to do indoors. I went to the sports bar, I went to the atrium bar, I hung out in the casino a little bit, even though I really don't gamble. I hung out in the casino a little bit. Went to a couple of different things they had on board. So the first day, even though it was, like I said, it rained a little bit, it wasn't a damper. It's not like when you're on a ship and it's raining and there's just nothing to do. So there's a lot to do on the ship, so if it does rain, you don't have to worry about your day being ruined at all, because there's plenty to do on board this ship. The next thing about the onboard experience I want to talk about is it was great service in the dining room. As you know, Carnival still has the traditional dining option, which I choose on Carnival. I take the late dinner seating. First of all, I had a wonderful table, met a lot of really nice people, a couple I've talked to already since I got back from cruise, a couple I've been meaning to email. Unfortunately, I've been so busy with everything, I haven't had a chance, but I will be emailing them and trying to stay in touch with as many people from my dinner table as possible, because it was a wonderful dinner table. The service was outstanding. We had a great team waiter, we had a great wait staff. By the second, third night of the cruise, they basically, I'm going to say this, on most Carnival ships, they know what you're tending to think as far as what you want for a drink at dinner. If you want wine, you want beer, you want a certain type of mixed drink. If you get one of the same starters a couple of nights in a row, they ask you if you want the same starter. And they were just an overall great wait staff, as I always have on Carnival. Now, the nightlife on board Carnival, on this ship, they had the piano bar, which, unlike a few other Carnival ships, this literally not only is a piano bar, but has a bar right inside. So it's not like other Carnival ships where there's a couple of bar waiters, wait staff in there taking your orders, going back and forth to other bars and getting your orders. You literally can go right to the bar and order, and you don't miss any music, or you want to go to get a drink, so you're not waiting to come back, or you're waiting for a drink during some of the songs. Another thing is the Punch Liners Comedy Club. Okay, that's phenomenal. Now, this is literally like a real comedy club. You would go into any city, any town, any city. It's like they have the family-oriented shows, and then they have the adults-only shows. And the adult-only shows, I won't say it's no holds barred, but it is hilarious, and you're going to be laughing your ass off. Okay. Another thing they had, now they don't have a typical disco on the ship like they have on other Carnival ships. So they used the Limelight Lounge after, I'm going to say, around 11 o'clock at night when most of the discos normally open. They take the Limelight Lounge, they take some seats out, they take some, because they're all movable chairs, they take them out, they put a makeshift bar in there, they have a dance floor, they set up the DJ, and you have like a mini disco in there. Like I said, it's not terrible. I prefer the ships that actually do have a real disco in there because the dance floor is bigger. You have more seating areas and it's more of a disco theme. But then again, they did the best with what they have, and it really was an overall. It was a good experience. There were a few nights there was no one in there, and there were some nights when, especially the last couple of nights of the cruise, it was packed in there. So it was a good, and it was to your typical disco music, discotheque music. You know, you had a lot of house music. You had some old school hard rock metal, hair metal, and on board they also had a white party one night. That was in the atrium. It wasn't outdoors, but the way it was actually perfect because you had everyone on the different floors. You had Matt, the cruise director, on the bar. There was a wedding proposal that night. It was wonderful. It was a great party. It was a very overall fun experience. They also had one night on the deck. They had an 80s music party. That was a lot of fun. Everyone was dressed up in 80s stuff. If I had known about the party, I would have. The only thing I had to wear there was one of my New York Met hats, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have, if I knew about that party, they were going to have the 80s party, I would have brought my Hulk Hogan t-shirt with me. The last night of the cruise was St. Patty's Day, so they had a huge St. Patty's Day party in the atrium. The cruise director was dressed as a leprechaun. Everyone was wearing green. Everyone had beads. It was a whole lot of fun. The last thing I want to say about the onboard experience is that Matt is a great cruise director. I've sailed with him before last year in February. I cruised with him, and he's a great guy. If you get a chance to meet him, I mean, he is all over the ship. He's a very busy guy, but if you do have a chance to meet him, he's a great guy to have a conversation with, and he's overall a very nice guy, and you would love to meet him. And he's, as I said, very friendly. The captain, Captain Andrea, he was very friendly on board the ship. I got to talk with him a couple of times, actually. He was a very nice guy. It was a great, overall, the staff on board was just wonderful. One of the most friendly cruise staffs I had, and I'm not going to say a very long time because most cruise staffs I have are very friendly, but this was one of the friendliest staffs I had in a very long time. Okay, so in closing, all I want to say, this was a great, it was a great cruise. I would do this ship again. There are other ships on Carnival I like a little bit more. As I said, I like the Conquest class ships. This was at the newer ship, the Horizon's coming out later this year. So this ship currently is the most expensive ship. But when the price goes down, and we'll see what they do with the itineraries. But if they keep the 8-day itinerary, Southern Caribbean, Eastern Caribbean, Western Caribbean, I will most definitely book this ship again. So, like I said, this is a wonderful ship. I give it 2 thumbs up. See, 2 thumbs up. And it was a great cruise, a great experience. I met some wonderful people. And I would definitely recommend the Carnival Vista 8-day Southern Caribbean itinerary. Thank you very much for watching my review. And I will be back soon with another video on why cruise lines should have offer timeshares on their cruise ships if they can't sell the rooms. Thank you very much. Have a great night.